Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to another edition of MJ Everyday, a dieting-based episode for you guys today. Gonna talk a little bit about artificial sweeteners and in particular, the impact that artificial sweeteners have on insulin and insulin response or insulin secretion. There's a lot of misinformation floating around the industry regarding this at the moment, guys. And from my personal perspective, probably since I've kind of noticed it, probably around the last 12 months, I would say, is there's this train of thought that goes something along the lines of artificial sweeteners, sucralose, ACE-K, acesulfame, potassium, aspartame, other artificial sweeteners have the ability to somehow trick your body into thinking that you're consuming sugar and therefore elicit an insulin response and cause an insulin spike because your body is somehow tricked into thinking that you're not consuming an artificial sweetener, you're actually consuming sugar. First and foremost, incorrect. Let's just get that out here. Factually incorrect. For those of you who have seen episode 25 of MJ Everyday, it's popping up on screen at the moment. You can go check it out if you haven't already, where I discuss insulin and a bit of an introduction to insulin, a bit of a background to insulin. You guys would know that your body secretes insulin as a response to an increase in blood sugar. So what has to happen is your blood sugar has to increase for your body to respond by secreting insulin to bring that blood sugar back down. If you don't have an increase in blood sugar, your body will not secrete insulin. The train of thought that somehow your body is tricked into thinking that it has a rapid rise in blood sugar because you taste something sweet is just complete bullshit. There's no other way that I can put it to be blunt. It's just complete bullshit. So let's just get that right out the way right from the start. That being said, I can see where this misinformation is kind of stemming from, where it's coming from, and where it kind of has its foundation is not with artificial sweeteners as such, the actual ingredient sucralose, the actual ACE-K, the actual aspartame. Where its foundation comes from is what these artificial sweeteners are cut with or mixed with when they're prepared for consumption, when they're actually prepared for adding to your coffee or adding to your tea or whatever you add your artificial sweetener to. Most of the time, they're actually cut with sugar. They're actually cut with dextrose. They're actually cut with maltodextrin. And here's why. Most artificial sweeteners are 200 to 1,000 times sweeter than sugar. So if you look at sucralose, for example, pure sucralose is about 200 times as sweet as sugar. So if you have a gram of sugar and a gram of sucralose, sucralose is going to be 200 times as sweet as sugar, approximately. It's around 200. ACE-K is very similar. Aspartame is even more sweet than that. So these artificial sweeteners are very, very sweet. And in order to make them palatable, they need to be cut with something less sweet to give them volume so that you're not using 1/200th of a gram of sucralose. How would you even measure? How would a normal person measure that out without microscales? 1/200th of a gram of ACE-K. They need to be cut with something. And most of the time, they're cut with dextrose and maltodextrin. And I've got an example here for you guys. One of the most common sweeteners is Splenda, which is sucralose. And if you check out, I'm going to get Timmy Turner, one of our IT professionals, to throw up this panel that I'm about to look at on the screen. You have a look at the ingredients. The ingredients list reads dextrose, which is a sugar, maltodextrin, which is a carbohydrate, which gets converted into sugar and sent into the bloodstream as blood sugar, and then your sucralose at 1%. So you're talking about 99% of every sachet of Splenda is actually sugar or maltodextrin. It's a combination of dextrose and maltodextrin. So that yes, that is going to increase your blood sugar. If you're taking two packets and it's going to be 2 grams of approximately 2 grams of a blend of dextrose and maltodextrin, is that going to increase blood sugar enough to cause an insulin spike? No, it's not. But you can see that that's kind of where people are getting a little bit confused with what's actually causing the insulin response with these artificial sweeteners. Artificial sweeteners themselves, pure sucralose, pure ACE-K, pure aspartame, pure artificial sweeteners do not cause a rise in blood sugar, therefore do not cause an insulin response. This whole theory about tricking your body into secreting insulin, it's physiologically impossible. It's just not, it just doesn't happen. But often what these sweeteners are cut with, what these sweeteners are spliced with to give them volume, to reduce their sweetness as an artificial sweetener, can sometimes be sugars or be converted into blood sugar that will provide some sort of insulin response. Most of the time you're not having enough of it to cause an insulin spike, but will provide some sort of insulin response. So it is something that you have to be careful about. The other thing, while we're on the topic as well, is if you're fasting, if you're intermittent fasting or practicing some sort of fasting, and you are having artificial sweeteners in this type of format, this type of form that have been cut with sugars and carbohydrates, you do have to keep in mind that if you're having enough of them, they are going to break your fast as well, guys, because you're not dealing with a pure artificial sweetener, you're dealing with dextrose, maltodextrin, and often, 1% or less than 1% of an artificial sweetener. So just something to keep in mind, it's not the artificial sweetener itself, it's what's cut with it to give it volume, to make it consumable, to make it less sweet, that is gonna provide this insulin response and cause you to break your fast if you're thinking that, you can have all the splendor you want and you're still gonna be in a fasted state. Unfortunately, if you have enough of it, you're not. Guys, that's a wrap for today's episode of MJ Everyday on artificial sweeteners and their related insulin response, if any. As always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, turn your post notifications on both on your mobile, your cell phone, and your desktop PC so you don't miss a beat when it comes to the Massive Joe's YouTube channel. Until tomorrow, I'm coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive.